My name is Ederin Pell, certified warp core technician of the Valkyrie Engineering Corps. Back then, I was young, far too young to recognize when I was being sacrificed politely. The day it began, my supervisor Tallers summoned me into his office. The room was dim, lit by the soft pulse of diagnostic holopanels. Tallers never dimmed lights, because he claimed it reduced workflow morale. So the moment I stepped in and saw half the lights off, I should have known something was wrong. He didn't even turn toward me when I entered. Instead, he simply said, "Specialist Pell, the humans have requested technical assistance." My stripe flickered pale green confusion, not fear. I had never worked with humans before. In fact, no Valkyrie technician in our entire division wanted to. Tal just continued speaking as if this were routine. "They've had a warp core destabilization on a courier vessel," he explained. "Planet fall in hostile territory, and they need a technician embedded with their unit." Then he added, "You will go." I blinked and asked, "Me, sir? Alone?" Tallers answered that humans preferred minimal entourage. I frowned at that response. I asked if a mission like this shouldn't have a team of at least 3 or 4. Tallers turned toward me wearing the stiffest smile I had ever seen him attempt. My stripe instantly flashed orange. Tallers rarely displayed optimism of any kind. Whenever he did, someone was usually about to de-end, preferably not him. I asked him quietly whether the others had been briefed. He replied too quickly. They declined. A pit opened in my stomach. Declining an assignment was the same as declaring incompetence in our military protocol. No one ever declined unless they knew something I didn't. Tallers stepped around his desk suddenly. He placed both hands on my shoulders far too cheerfully. He told me he had full confidence in me. Then he ordered me to pack my kit because the shuttle left in 3 hours. 3 hours later, I sat on a military dropship surrounded entirely by humans. That was when I understood why everyone else had refused. The first thing I noticed was the smell. Humans sweated constantly, aggressively, and in overwhelming quantities. Our species expelled heat through odorless dorsal vents. But humans communicated emotion through scent, fear, readiness, aggression, determination. My stripe glowed bright purple, the color of fear. A heavy tap struck my back, and I nearly jumped out of my seat. The human beside me leaned closer. He had broad shoulders, thick arms, and a stern face softened by warmth. His skin glistened with sweat under the shuttle lights. "You're shaking," he told me in a deep voice. He added, "Stick with us. You'll live to complain about this flight." I stared at him speechless. He chuckled and introduced himself as Alec Stone, squad sergeant. He offered me a gloved hand, which I took, feeling his warm, grounding grip. Alec studied me with a grin and asked if it was my first time around humans. I nodded silently. He joked that I would either get used to humans or I wouldn't, and that it was always a gamble. Across the aisle, another human named Rafe snorted. Alec told him to shut it because I was nervous enough. Rafe muttered something about survival odds being variable. Alec ignored him and assured me they had run 1,000 ops like this. He added that nobody got left behind, especially the person keeping their warp drive from exploding. My stripe shifted from purple to dull blue, indicating slightly less terror. I asked Alec why he trusted me. He answered simply that I was there, which meant I had accepted something 13 techs refused. I stiffened when he revealed the number. He gave my back a heavy smack, calling me brave or dumb. The shuttle jolted violently as it began atmospheric descent. Weapons rattled as Alec strapped them down. As he leaned back, he murmured something soft and reverent. I barely heard the whispered words over the engines. He said, "Watch over us." Humans didn't worship the old species. The ancient ones, such as the Krol, were feared, not prayed to. So I wondered who he was speaking to. Rafe smirked and said, "Alec talked to the sky when nervous." Alec muttered back that he spoke to someone with better aim. The capital letter in that someone was unmistakable. Before I could ask more, Captain Reese Arden announced we were 10 minutes from touchdown. The shuttle roared, metal screaming as we cut through thick atmosphere. My stripe pulsed violently with fear. Alec leaned close and told me to look at him. He assured me I would be all right if I stayed beside him. Moments later, the shuttle slammed onto the ground with bone-shaking force. Captain Arden barked orders to move. The back hatch opened, and hell greeted us. It wasn't a battlefield. It was a death world. The planet had a red classification severe enough to border myth. Evolution here sharpened itself on bones. Towering trees spiraled unnaturally. Insects the size of my torso crawled along roots. The air trembled with distant gunfire. Explosions streaked across the sky. The humans disembarked instantly and formed a perimeter. I tried to move, but my legs refused. Alec noticed immediately. He ran back into the shuttle to grab my kit and physically dragged me out. He told me that freezing meant dying on worlds like this. A shriek cut through the jungle, something metallic and hunting. Rafe checked his scanner with dread. Confirmed patrols incoming. Not creatures Krol hunter drones. The drones were ancient war machines forged by a species half the galaxy considered godlike. My legs stopped obeying me completely. My stripe blazed bright purple. Alec gripped my shoulder firmly. He told me humans had destroyed countless drones like these, but that no one could fix a warp core like I could. He said if I kept them alive in the ship, they'd keep me alive on the ground. We struck a deal that I accepted through trembling breath. Alec tossed me my toolkit, joking to try not to faint. Captain Arden raised a hand to silence signal and the squad froze instantly. Rafe's drone's swarm buzzed outward like metallic mist. Alec positioned me behind him, shielding me. The jungle crackled with movement. Dark shapes emerged between twisted trees, six-legged machines with glowing eyes and weapons unfolding. Rafe whispered that they were locking on us. Captain Arden ordered us to hold. My pulse hammered so loud I felt it in my teeth. Another shriek cut the air. Green targeting beams streaked toward us. Rafe confirmed the drones had seen us. Arden shouted, "Contact! Engage!" The jungle erupted in gunfire, laser bursts, and exploding earth. Humans moved with terrifying precision. The hunter drones charged relentlessly. Alec pushed me flat behind a jagged root and shouted to stay down. He fired over my head with clean, controlled shots. The other humans flanked, covered, and communicated without words. One drone exploded into glowing shards. Another lunged, firing plasma bolts. Alec dove, dragging me as a blast scorched the ground where my head had been. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I could only watch as God's machines fell before mortal hands. A near hit detonated behind us, showering sparks across Alec's armor. He rolled behind a fallen trunk, reloaded, and shouted into his cum. "Command Stone here, requesting fire support." The sky answered. A streak of light tore downward. The world erupted. Fire blossomed into the dark, casting insane shadows. For a moment, everything glowed brighter than day. Alec ducked as debris rained around him, muttering quietly, "Thank you." I heard the capitalized word "thank you," not luck. Someone I didn't have time to process it, because more drones were coming. Many more, Captain Arden ordered. "Fall back to secondary position. Protect the tech." Lick hauled me up, practically carrying me as we sprinted. Drones crashed through trees behind us. Plasma bolts tore through leaves. Humans returned fire in disciplined bursts. My lungs burned, my legs failing, but Alec refused to let me stop. He dragged me behind a massive boulder as drones swarmed overhead. "We'll hold them," he said. "You just stay alive. You hear me?" I nodded, breathless. He grinned. "Good would hate to bring you back to Talj in pieces." Despite the terror, a small laugh escaped. Me a broken, terrified sound. Then something massive moved deeper in the jungle, heavier than the drones. A metallic groan. A thundering step. The humans tensed. Rafe swore under his breath. "That's not a patrol unit." Captain Arden's expression hardened. "Heavy hunter incoming." "Stone front, Rafe mark." Everyone else brace. Alec stepped in front of me, weapon raised, jaw set. The ground shook. The trees parted. A colossal machine stepped into view, towering, armored, ancient. A weapon of a species that once dominated galaxies. My breath vanished. My stripe flared pure white, overwhelmed shock. Alec glanced back once, checking I was still behind cover. "Don't panic," he said casually. His voice didn't match the situation. Nothing about this situation was survivable. He aimed his rifle at the giant machine. "Just another day working with humans," he muttered. When the ancient war machine opened fire, I understood why even gods feared humans, and why Alec whispered to someone none of us could see. The enormous machine pushed through trees like a metal avalanche. Branches snapped against its armor, sparks flying. Each step was slow, heavy, and terrifying. Its silhouette radiated age technology older than my species' written history. It was built by the Krol when their empire was young and hungry, a relic of gods who had once walked unchallenged through the stars. Now it was walking toward us. A heavy hunter unit, Rafe muttered. Model HX series. Ancient warfare architecture. It shouldn't even be online. These were retired 1,000. Not the time. Captain Arden cut in. The machine growled, its power core warming. Alec stepped forward, placing himself fully between me and the Titan. The jungle trembled with each step. Rafe, Arden ordered calmly. Give me a weak point. Rafe's fingers flew across his holopad, drones swarming like metallic fireflies. They circled the machine, scanning. Armor plating, triple layered. The primary core shielded. Weapons array. He inhaled sharply. It's powering a particle lance. Alec grimaced. Particle lances weren't weapons. They were obliteration made manifest. One shot could vaporize a shuttle. Two could crack a cruiser hull. On foot, we didn't stand a chance. The heavy hunter raised one arm, unfolding a massive barrel. Energy gathered inside like a miniature star. Alec whispered again softly. Don't let it hit us, Arden said calm, as if ordering lunch. Working on it, Rafe snapped. The machine's cannon flashed, charging critical mass. Alec, move, Arden barked. Alec dove sideways, just as the weapon fired. A beam of white-blue energy carved a trench through the earth. Trees didn't burn, they vanished. The shockwave hurled me backward. My head smacked a root. Stars exploded behind my vision. When I blinked the blur away, Alec was dragging me behind cover. You good? He demanded. I think so, I stammered. Good, he said, relief flickering briefly across his eyes, not to stand in front of that again. The heavy hunter pivoted toward us. Rafe, Arden shouted. I see it. Rafe's fingers blurred with desperation. The machine charged another shot directly at us. Alec, Arden began. I know, Alec replied, already sprinting toward it. Humans were insane. The machine's cannon burned bright again, gathering lethal starlight. Alec slid behind a boulder as the blast fired. The beam hit the rock, exploding it into molten shards. He rolled coughing through dust, hair singed but alive. He looked up at the glowing sky and muttered softly, Still with me? Good. I heard him, still with me. He wasn't talking to the captain. He wasn't talking to himself, whoever he trusted. I wondered what gave a human the strength to whisper gratitude while death walked toward him. Arden called out, Stone, we need that thing distracted. On it. Alec rose from shattered rock. The giant machine already turned its weapon toward him. The next blast would hit him. No, I shouted without thinking. Alec didn't hesitate. He fired his weapon, emptying entire magazines into the Titan sensor clusters. Bullets sparked uselessly, but got its attention. The heavy hunter pivoted, redirecting its massive body. That bought us precious seconds. Rafe's drones swarmed tighter. Got it, weak point located, Rafe shouted. Lower back armor panel misaligned. Must have taken damage during atmospheric entry. Coordinates, Arden demanded. Rafe transmitted them instantly, highlighting a glowing red target on all human visors. Arden lifted his rifle. Squad focus fire. Bring it down. The humans moved like a synchronized machine. Explosive rounds impacted the weak point, sending showers of sparks. The hunter staggered, turning its cannon toward the heaviest fire. Toward Rafe. Oh no, 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 Rafe muttered. The cannon lit up. Arden shouted, Rafe, move. But the drone tech wasn't fast enough. Alec shoved Rafe aside just as the beam fired, slamming into Alec instead. The shockwave lifted him off his feet. He was thrown violently into the dirt. His armor glowed red-hot, smoke rising from melted plating. Alec, I yelled. He didn't move. Arden's voice boomed. Magnetic. Stone is down, Rafe. Keep that thing blind. Trying, Rafe yelled, directing drones to swarm the machine's sensors. The giant swatted at them, metal claws tearing through the air. The swarm kept it distracted. I scrambled toward Alec, ignoring Arden's command. My legs felt like they were wading through liquid fear. Alec lay on his back, chest rising weakly. Armor was molten and cracked. His helmet visor flickered as he struggled to breathe. "No, no, no," I muttered, dropping beside him. "Alecolacan, you hear me?" His eyes fluttered open. He exhaled through a pained smile. "Hey, Tech, didn't I tell you not to freeze?" "Don't talk," I said desperately. Just stay still," he laughed weakly. "Not my first laser bath." His right arm was burned badly. "Too badly, Alec," Rafe shouted. "Don't die, my knee, can't babysit the Tech alone." Alec tried to sit up, wincing. Die. Not today, someone. Not today, someone doesn't want me gone yet." He stated it as if fact, as if protection were intentional, not luck, not coincidence. Arden's voice cut through. "Ed, get him behind the ridge. Move." I dragged Alec backward as the heavy hunter fired wildly, blinded by the drone swarm. Beams sliced through foliage. Explosions shook the air. Rafe yelled, "Its systems are recalibrating. We need to hit that weak point hard while the swarm still confuses it." Arden nodded sharply. "Team, press forward." Then Arden looked directly at me. "Tech, stay with Stone. Keep him conscious. And the last thing I need is him passing out and thinking he retired early." Even in chaos, the humans smiled at their own grim jokes. Alec groaned, clutching his arm. I pulled out a medgel injector from his belt, my hand shaking. "This will numb it," but he grunted. "Just do it." The gel hissed as it seeped into damaged flesh, cooling the burns. Alec exhaled in relief. The hunter roared on, electric, metal sound, as humans bombarded its weak point from multiple angles. Chunks of armored plating tore free. Sparks flew. Fuel leaked in glowing streams. "It's gonna blow," Rafe warned. "Keep firing," Arden yelled. "Ah!" The giant lifted its cannon toward the squad again. Even blind, it could sense heat signatures. I grabbed Alec's good arm. "Need to move." He pushed me down suddenly. The heavy hunter fired. The blast skimmed past us, detonating into the jungle with a deafening explosion that uprooted entire trees. Alec panted. "Stay low." "No," I snapped. "You need medical evac." He shook his head. "Later. Right now, the others need us." "What can we do?" "You can barely stand." He turned his head slowly, eyes meeting mine. "You still have your toolkit." I froze. "What?" "Tech," he said, pointing at the smoking wreck of a half-destroyed drone nearby. "Machines talk to each other. Even Krol ones. You can pull its memory core. Use it to scramble heavy hunter targeting systems. Make it blind." My heart hammered. This is not what I was trained for." His voice hardened. "Ed, you helped rebuild a containment unit on your first day in the academy, right? How did you—" He grinned weakly. "You mutter when you're nervous. You muttered your whole resume earlier." I felt my face flush. "Really?" "Yeah," he said. It was adorable. Another blast shook the ground. Alec grabbed the front of my vest with his good hand. "Listen to me. We protect you. Now you protect us. You pull that core, hook it into your deck, and scramble the hunter. You can do it, and if I can't," he exhaled, "then we all die." There was no choice. Not really. I leaped toward the wreckage, sliding across burnt soil and broken metal. My toolkit felt twice as heavy as normal. My hands trembled as I cracked open the hull of the destroyed drone. Inside, the memory core pulsed faintly, a glowing cube of ancient tech. I grabbed it and sprinted back behind cover. "Now what?" I gasped. "Patch it to your toolkit interface," Alec ordered. "There's a universal coupler in the side compartment." "Universal? This thing is Krol. Humans reverse engineered it last month," he replied casually. "Of course they did." I slotted the cube into my interface. My display glowed wildly, symbols I didn't understand flickering across the screen. "Ed," Alec said, gripping my shoulder. "Breathe." I inhaled. I exhaled, and I let instinct take over. Lines of corrupted code, enemy targeting nodes, sensor feedback loops. I recognized enough to improvise. I linked the corrupted data feed to an external projector. The toolkit hummed dangerously. The cube pulsed brighter. A pulse of static erupted outward, hitting the heavy hunter. The machine staggered. Arden looked back sharply. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. The Titan's cannon fizzled. Its sensors blinked, swung wildly unable to focus. Rafe whooped. Tech scrambled its whole targeting matrix. It's blind, team, Arden roared. Finish it. Humans opened fire with renewed fury. Explosive rounds hammered the weakened backplating. Plasma grenades detonated along exposed seams. The giant roared, then collapsed sideways, crashing into the earth with a seismic boom, its core overloaded, detonating in a controlled implosion that shredded its remains. Silence fell, broken, smoking jungle spread all around. Arden approached, lowering his rifle. Tech, you did that? I stared at the destroyed Titan, chest heaving. I did. Rafe let out a laugh. Krol heavy hunter, killed by a guy holding a toolbox. Recording this for the barracks. Alex struggled up, wincing. Knew you could do it, you almost died. I snapped. He shrugged. Someone wanted me alive. Not finished yet, he said it lightly. But something in his voice lingered a quiet certainty. A belief. Arden scanned the jungle. We need to move. More units will be coming. Our objective is the courier ship. Edarin, you're up. My stomach dropped. Fixing the warp core. In a war zone? After battling God's machines? Alec patted my back. Come on. Time to make that ship fly. I thought the worst was behind us. I was wrong. Because what waited inside the crashed courier would challenge everything I believed about humans. And everything Alec believed about someone watching over us. The jungle thinned as we pushed deeper, the canopy bending away from a clearing carved violently into the earth. The courier vessel lay half buried in a crater, its hull scorched and warped as if someone had tried to fold a star around it. Light shimmered strangely around the ship's stealth field, still sputtering, bending reflections like heat over metal. Even in ruin, it looked predatory. Captain Arden raised a fist, and the squad froze. Rafe scanned the perimeter, drones buzzing outward. Thermals clear, Rafe whispered. But the ship's core is still radiating. Something. I took a step forward. That's containment bleed. My voice sounded far smaller than the jungle around us. If the field destabilized any further, the ship shouldn't even be here. Alec muttered low. Maybe someone kept it in one piece long enough for us to reach it. I glanced at him, surprised again by the hint of faith in his tone. He caught my look and shrugged. What? You think a ship survives a fall from orbit because gravity felt merciful? Arden interrupted. Focus. Form perimeter. Rafe, keep drones out. Edarin, your show. My stomach tightened. This was it. I climbed the ramp bent and cracked into the courier. The moment I crossed the threshold, the air changed. A low hum vibrated through my bones. The lights inside flickered like candle flames fighting extinction. Alec followed close, his armor scraping the walls. Stay where I can see you, Tech. Inside, the corridor tilted sharply to the left. Panels sparked overhead. Smoke drifted lazily down the length of the hall. Metallic scent of scorched wiring hung heavy, familiar, almost comforting. The deeper we went, the more the ship felt. Wrong. Not broken, wounded. Alec kept his rifle raised. Something's off. I can feel it. It's just the field resonance, I said, though my voice shook. Warp cores get temperamental after a crash. The door to engineering was half melted. The emergency seals had failed. Blue-white energy flickered through the crack, a dying star trapped behind battered metal. I swallowed hard. Alec stepped closer. That normal? No, not even slightly. I pulled my toolkit forward, setting it beside the damaged door. Stand back. If the residual charge lashes out, it might arc. Alec didn't move. If it arcs at you, it arcs at me. You don't need to, yes, he said firmly. I do. I didn't argue further. I connected magnetic anchors around the doorframe, set my portable stabilizer field, and adjusted the dampeners until the flicker of energy calmed to a low rhythmic pulse. Alec watched silently, eyes following every movement. You're good at this? He murmured. This is the easy part, I said. Really? Because the door is glowing? That means it's stable. Unhung, Alec grunted. Remind me to never take a vacation on your home planet. I forced the heavy door open with a pry brace. A wave of heat rolled out, hot enough to make Alec flinch. Inside, chaos. Panels torn from walls. Cables hanging like metallic vines. The core chamber itself flickered between light and shadow, containment field twitching with every pulse. And in the center of the room, at the heart of the chaos, stood something I did not expect. A figure. A man. Human. Unconscious. Strapped to the floor by tangled restraints and collapsed conduits. His breathing was shallow. His armor, similar to Alec's, was cracked and melted. His left arm lay limp, burned badly. His visor was shattered. I froze. Alec's rifle snapped upward instantly. He stepped in front of me like a shield. "Identify him," Alec barked. I knelt beside the man, brushing debris aside. His rank insignia was charred, barely visible. "Lieutenant." "Harlan Vale," I read slowly. "Engineering officer." He must have been trying to stabilize the core from inside when the ship crashed. Alec knelt beside him. "He's alive." "Barely." Alec sighed, relief flickering across his face. "Good. That means this isn't a tomb yet." I looked at him. "We need to get him out." Arden's voice crackled over Cum's report. Alec answered, "We have a survivor injured. Tech is assessing the core." "Proceed." "Perimeter holding." "But we have movement in the trees." "Not Krol. Something else." A cold shiver crawled down my spine. Alec looked at me. "Eterin, how unstable is this thing?" I stepped closer to the core, analyzing its flickering rotation. The containment lattice sparked violently, arcs of energy slashing like lightning within its housing. "The stabilizers aren't just damaged," I whispered. "They're fractured."
Oh.
"Multiple points. If one more fails, the core collapses." "In what sense of collapses?" Alec asked. "In the sense that everything within a 2-kilometer radius becomes a crater." Alec exhaled, then nudged Harlan gently. "Hey, Lieutenant," he whispered. "If you're awake, now's a great time to stop napping." Harlan didn't stir. Alec stood. "Tell me what you need." I swallowed. "To repair stabilizers, I need time, and I need you to keep anything from interrupting me." "If this is disrupted mid-cycle, the core will." "I get it," he cut in. Boom. Yes. Boom. Alec positioned himself by the entrance. "Then do your job." "I'll do mine." There was something comforting in the way he said it. Not dramatic, not heroic, just assured. As if he had chosen long ago to trust in something beyond his own strength. And maybe that was why he always walked into danger without flinching. I picked up my tools, beginning field alignment. "Holler if it tries to eat you," Alec murmured. The repair I entered the core chamber, heat washing over me in waves. Every instinct screamed at me to leave. The pulsing glow of the unstable warp core filled the chamber with erratic bursts of blinding light. If I reached too close, the arc would cook my arm off. I anchored my stabilizing clamps and connected the resonance tuning forks. "Okay," I breathed. "Just a catastrophic containment failure waiting to happen. Nothing to worry about." Alec raised an eyebrow. "Your comforting words need work." Then something moved behind us. A low scraping sound echoed through the ship's corridor. Alec's rifle snapped up. "We're not alone." I froze. Krol, not mechanical, organic footsteps. Heavy, great, death world wildlife. Arden's voice crackled in my ear. "Stone, brace. Multiple life forms approaching your sector." "Copy," Alec said. "Tech is working." "Buying time." Something growled in the distance. "Something large," Alec whispered. "Almost wish the giant robot came back." I continued rewiring damaged coils, sweat running down my spine. One wrong move, and I might cut open the containment field. My hands trembled. Alec noticed. He stepped close, his voice low. "I'm right here, Eterin. Breathe. You've got this." I took a breath, held it. Let it go. The trembling steadied, and I began the sequence. Something enters. We were halfway into the repair cycle when a scratching sound echoed from the corridor again. Closer, heavier. Alec whispered, "Movement." "Ed, how long?" 20 minutes. "We don't have 20. The scraping turned into a guttural snarl. I heard claws. Heavy ones. Alec braced his rifle. "Stay behind cover when it comes." When what comes? But I already knew. A massive silhouette filled the corridor entrance. Something with too many joints, too many teeth, too much hunger. Its eyes reflected the pulsing core light. Alec exhaled sharply. "Of course, it's a 4-meter murder cat." "Why wouldn't it be?" The creature roared. Alec fired. The shot hit its shoulder. It shrieked, but lunged anyway. Alec grabbed me, shoving me behind a collapsed console as the beast crashed into the chamber, tearing metal apart like foil. "Alec," I shouted. He rolled aside just as claws tore through where he'd stood. Sparks flew. The creature slammed into the wall, then turned toward him again. Alec steadied his rifle. "Come on."
Ow.
"Over here? Come on." The beast charged. Before it reached him, the ship lurched. The core pulsed violently. I screamed Alec. If the field destabilizes, I know. He dodged under another swipe, sliding across the floor, firing round after round into the beast's flank. The creature shrieked, tail whipping across the chamber, knocking tools flying. The pulse grew stronger, the core flickering dangerously. If I didn't stabilize the field now, the entire ship and all of us would vanish in a blue-white flash. I dove toward my equipment, bracing clamps as the core twisted sideways. Eder and Alec yelled, "Move, can't," I shouted back. "If I stop this ship, becomes a crater." "Great," Alec snapped. "Then stay alive while you work." He drew the beast away, shouting, firing, throwing debris, hurling a broken panel at its head. The creature roared and chased him. Alec backpedaled, barely avoiding claws aimed to slice him in two. He ducked behind a fallen support beam. The creature slammed into it, shaking the entire chamber. Alec wiped blood from his cheek. "Okay, you got my attention. That's fine. But just so you know," he steadied his rifle, "I'm not alone in this." He whispered, the next words quiet, almost intimate. "Keep me steady. Not to me, not to Arden, not to himself. To someone." That's the way he said it. Not fear, not desperation, but trust. It made something in my chest tighten. The creature lunged again, like didn't retreat this time. He ran forward. The clash echoed like thunder. While metal and flesh collided behind me, I completed the resonance phase, sealing a stabilizer with a final clamp. The containment field brightened, steadying just a fraction. "One down?" I gasped. "Two more." Alec ducked under another blow, rolled across the floor, fired point blank into the beast's open maw. It reeled, screamed, and swung blindly. Alec was thrown across the chamber, slamming hard into a bulkhead. "Alec!" I cried. He didn't rise for a heartbeat. Then slowly he pushed himself up, coughing. "Still alive," he muttered. "Someone hears me." The beast snarled, charging again. Alec picked up a fallen metal pipe and braced. "Come on," he growled through bloody teeth. "Try me." I completed the second stabilizer, welding the fractured conduits back together. Only one remained, the hardest one, directly under the core housing. The heat was unbearable. My skin prickled. My stripe flickered violently between fear and concentration. Alec was losing ground, his movements slower, breath sharp and pained. "Alec," I shouted, "I need 1 minute. That's a long time," he yelled, dodging a bite that would have taken his head off. "I know." He paused just long enough to glance my way. "Then we hold Ed. You finish that core, or none of this matters." I slid under the housing, my hands shook. My breath came fast. Sparks rained from above as Alec fought for his life. I connected the stabilizer coil. The core flared. "Come on. Come on." I whispered desperately. "Stay with me." A violent jolt shook the chamber, the creature slamming Alec against the core housing. He cried out in pain. My screwdriver slipped, the coil detached, the entire containment field flickered dangerously low. "No, no, no." Alec's voice, ragged but steady, cut through. "Ederin, finish it. I'm right here." He said it as if being near me made the impossible doable. I forced my trembling hands to steady. Just one more clamp, one more sequence, one more alignment. The field flickered, dimmed, surged. "Yes," I cried. "Containment stable." The core snapped into smooth rotation, light brightening, pulse steady. A low hum filled the chamber, warm, alive. Alec exhaled a shaky breath. "Good. Good." The beast turned toward me. Alec saw it. No, he lunged, not with his rifle, not with a weapon, but with everything he had left. He slammed into the creature's side, tackling it away from me just as it pounced. They crashed together into a support strut. Metal buckled. Alec fell. The beast reared back for the killing blow. A single shot echoed. Arden stood in the doorways, smoke rising from his rifle barrel. The creature fell dead. Silence followed. Only our breaths filled the chamber. Alec coughed, leaning against a broken pipe. Told you, we'd make it. I knelt beside him, heart pounding. I could have died. He smiled faintly. Didn't. Someone had other plans. The core was stable, the ship alive, but the jungle outside was changing. 'Cause while we fought inside, something far older than the Krol had awakened. It was heading straight toward us. Outside the crashed courier vessel, the jungle wasn't quiet. It was holding its breath. Even through the warped hull plates, I felt a pressure in the air, like the world itself bracing for impact. Something moved beyond the tree line, heavy, purposeful, not like the feline predator Alec fought, older, as if the planet had a heartbeat, and it had just awakened. Captain Arden steadied his rifle. Stone at her move. We need to extract Lieutenant Vale and get out before the entire jungle converges. Alec pushed himself upright, wincing. Rafe, get in here. We've got a man down. Rafe entered, panting, visor flickering with dozens of drones feeding him sensor data. He glanced at the dead beast and let out a low whistle. Stone, what did you fight? A walking nightmare. Alec shrugged weakly. Started it. Huh, Rafe muttered. Remind me never to let you pick vacation spots. Arden knelt beside Lieutenant Vale, pulse faint but steady. We carry him out. Vaughn covered left. Rafe right. Alec looked at me. Ed. Core stable. Yes, I answered. But the ship won't fly yet. Hull damage is too severe. We're not flying this thing, Arden said. Backup dropship is en route. Rafe's drones beeped suddenly sharp, urgent. His eyes widened. Captain, we have a problem. Arden didn't even flinch. Define problem. Something's coming through the West Ridge, Rafe said. I've never seen this signature before. It's massive. A low rumble shook soil from the ceiling. Alec groaned. That sounds close. It's closing fast, Rafe added. Arden's jaw tightened. We hold this position until extraction, Stone Adarin and me. Before I could answer, the world outside shattered. A sound, deep, resonant, almost mournful, echoed through the clearing. The trees bent outward, as if bowing under the force of a passing entity. Branches tore, roots cracked. Smaller creatures fled in waves of panic. Alec whispered, What in the... Rafe swallowed. Captain, whatever it is. It's older than Krol tech. Much older. Captain Arden took a steadying breath. Everyone fall back to formation C-Stone. Eder and you, to stay behind me. Alec stepped protectively between me and the corridor. Believe me, I'm not letting the tech get eaten, Rafe muttered. By what exactly? The jungle answered. Colossal shadow pressed through the trees, bending the entire canopy. Leaves rained down like green snow. Then it stepped into the clearing. It's not Krol, not animal, not machine. Something in between. Its body resembled a towering, insectoid colossus, 6 limbs plated carapace, but with metallic joints and a glowing network of crystalline lines pulsing beneath the surface. Its head was angular, like a sculpted blade. Eyes burned with molten gold. And it had markings. Ancient ones. Carved into its exoskeleton-like scripture. Alec exhaled. Anyone want to explain what that is? Rafe stammered. I don't know. My drones can't scan it. Every sensor returns. Corrupted data. The creature's gaze locked onto us, and the world went still. Arden raised his voice. Identify yourself. The creature tilted its head, studying him like one studies a child trying to command a storm. A deep, layered voice vibrated the aeronaut speech, but resonance, like a mountain groaning. Alec whispered, That's not a greeting. Captain, I said, trembling. Those markings, they're pre-Krol, maybe pre-civilization. I've only seen fragments of symbols like that in Xena High Story archives. Arden's grip on his rifle tightened. Meaning, this thing predates the Krol Empire? Alec hissed. Perfect. Prehistoric killing machine with opinions. The creature stepped closer, each footfall shaking the earth slow but unstoppable. Rafe's drones, floating outside, suddenly malfunctioned one by one, dropping from the air like stones. Rafe swore. It's disrupting everything. Electromagnetic interference off the charts. The creature raised one massive limand. The air rippled with energy. Arden shouted, "Move!" A crackling wave blasted forward. Alec slammed me behind a bulkhead before the energy hit. The shockwave tore through the outer wall, sending metal shards screaming across the chamber. My ears rang. My vision blurred. Alec's arm was around me before I hit the ground. "Edarin, stay with me." Arden yelled orders, his voice fading in and out. "Regroup! Defensive positions. Don't let it breach the ship." The creature stepped closer, and suddenly it stopped, right at the entrance. Its head tilted again more dramatically this time. It stared past the humans, past me. It stared at the warp core. A low vibration emanated from it, almost a hum, not hostile, not curious. Recognition. As if the core's energy resonated with something inside it. "What is it doing?" Rafe whispered. The creature leaned closer, golden eyes narrowing, analyzing the humming heart of the ship. Then its entire body flared with light. A shock of panic surged through the squad. Alec raised his rifle. "Captain, permission to shoot that glowing demon." "Hold fire," Arden barked. "Don't provoke something we don't understand." The creature's plates shifted, opening slightly like petals unveiling ancient machinery beneath. A cascade of symbols lit up along its chest, and then it spoke. Not in words, not in any language, but in memory. Images flooded my mind too fast to process. Worlds burning, gods falling. The Krol fleeing from something greater. A star collapsing into darkness. An entity shapeless, vast reaching through a cosmic tear. I gasped, clutching my head. "Stop." Alec caught me as I staggered. "Ed, what's wrong?" I sucked in breath after breath, heart racing. It communicated through resonant imprint, not with sound, with memory. "What did it show you?" Arden demanded. I shuddered. The Krol weren't the apex. Something else hunted them. Alec swore. "Wonderful." New nightmare unlocked. The creature's gaze fixed on me again. It stepped inside the ship. Alec blocked it instantly, rifle raised. "Back off." The creature paused, looking at Alec before lowering its head slightly. Almost acknowledging him, a gesture, not of aggression, respect. Alec blinked. Did it just bow at me? Rafe stared. "Why the hell would a prehistoric war machine bow to a human?" Alec shrugged. "I get that reaction a lot." Arden's voice cut in sharply. "Everyone focus." The creature looked at me again, then at the core. And finally, after what felt like an eternity, it stepped back out of the ship, turning its head toward the deeper jungle. It left without attacking. It simply walked away. Arden exhaled. What in the name of a deep rumble cut him off? The creature wasn't retreating. It was responding. Something else was approaching, something that made even it move faster. Rafe's voice cracked. "Captain, new contacts, multiple massive. Whatever that thing feared, it's coming." Alec looked at me and whispered, "Ed, what did you see?" The images forced themselves forward again. The collapsing star, the dark shape, the hunting primordial force, the ancient extinction. I swallowed hard. "I think," I whispered, "the Krol ran from whatever is coming, and that creature was trying to warn us." Alec stared. "Of what?" Before I could answer, the ground shook harder. The jungle screamed not in sound but in pressure, as if the entire atmosphere recoiled. Arden grabbed his cum. "Command, we need immediate evac. Now." Static replied. Rafe's drones rebooted, flickering. One flashed a warning. "Seismic anomaly. Multiple signatures run the courier whole," moaned as vibrations tore through the clearing. Alec pulled me close. "Stay with me." The jungle parted. The world turned black. The thing that emerged from the jungle wasn't alive. It wasn't mechanical, it was both. And when its many glowing eyes turned toward Alec, it spoke his name. The jungle split open like a wound as the new presence entered the clearing. Fast, not loud. Just inevitable. Its movement wasn't the thunder of a predator or the mechanical grind of Krol war machines. It was quieter, like something that didn't need to rush. It's like something that believed everything in its path already belonged to it. The first thing I saw were its eyes. Hundreds of them. Small, bright, arranged in fractal patterns across a shifting, semi-organic shape. They glowed with pulsing crimson, as if lit by trapped embers from a dying star. Then the rest came into view. A creature or machine or something born between both flowed from the tree line. Its body wasn't solid. It rippled and reformed constantly, the way molten metal flows when stirred by a cosmic wind. Plates emerged, then sank back. Tendrils branched out, then melted into new limbs. It was like watching evolution happen in real time, without rules or limits. Rafe stared, shaking. Captain, this isn't in any database. Isn't anything. Arden steadied his rifle. Stone, keep Eterin and Vale behind cover. Vaughn, perimeter. Rafe drones up. Rafe's drones rose, and immediately blinked out of existence the moment they entered a 5-meter radius around the creature. No explosion. No interference. They just vanished. Rafe fell back, horrified. It tick disassembled them. It took the drones apart atom by atom. The creature drifted forward, its many eyes focusing on each of us in turn. Not randomly. No, it was evaluating. Searching. I felt my stripe flare a terrified purple. Alec stepped in front of Mingered, arm pressed to his side, rifle raised with his good hand. If you want him, he growled, you go through me. A sound resonated through the clearing of vibration, low and harmonic. The creature's eyes gleamed brighter. And then a voice, not through the air, not into our ears. It burrowed into our minds, but it didn't speak in language. It spoke in intent. Stone. Alex stiffened. It said my name. Arden shouted, fall back. Regroup around the courier. But none of us moved. We couldn't. The creature's presence pressed down like gravity, massive, overwhelming, ancient. My heart thudded in my chest. Alec? Why would it know you? He didn't answer. Couldn't, because the creature spoke again. Stone, human. You, Alec, swallowed. Why me? The creature's shifting form steadied slightly, as if concentrating. Then came the next pulse. One who hears the one above? My breath caught. Arden's jaw clenched. Stone. What is it talking about? Alec didn't look away from the creature. His voice was quiet, honest, exposed. I pray, he whispered. Not often, but enough. Rafe blinked. You pray? Since when? Alec gave a half smile. Since long before I became a soldier. Arden stiffened. You never mentioned this? You never asked? Alec said simply. The creature seemed to ripple with interest, its eyes brightening. It lowered itself closer to Alec, and I felt the ground vibrate beneath us. Alec didn't move, didn't flinch. Stay back, I whispered. Alec, please. He shook his head. No, if it wanted to kill me, it would have. It's trying to understand something. The creature leaned closer. One who looks beyond what is seen. Alec exhaled slowly, voice nearly a whisper. Maybe I do. Then it changed. Its fractal body reformed, stabilizing into something vaguely humanoid, a tall silhouette of churning metal and flesh. Its eyes dimmed, focusing entirely on Alec. Why him? I whispered to myself. Alec heard me. Ed. Tss. Sometimes people think humans survive impossible battles because we're brutal, or stubborn, or lucky. He looked at me, really looked. But sometimes, someone helps. It wasn't a sermon. It wasn't a declaration. Just a simple truth, offered like breath. The creature reacted, its body vibrating with a sudden violent resonance, not anger, not hostility, recognition. You remember? Alec frowned. Remember what? The creature's voice tore through our minds, a collapsing star. Worlds consumed, civilizations erased, and in all that destruction, a brief image, human, praying. Before a nameless cosmic force, Arden staggered. What is this thing? My voice trembled. It's a survivor. Of something older than the Krol, something that destroyed entire star systems. Something it barely escaped. Alec's eyes hardened. So what does it want with me? The creature leaned forward. Warning. Rafe's scanner beeped wildly. Captain, multiple massive signatures inbound. Bigger than this thing coming fast. Arden cursed. We need that evac now. Alec took a step forward. If they're coming for you, run. We'll buy you time. The creature didn't move. Instead, it extended a limp slowly, not as a threat, but as a gesture. Toward Alec. Toward his chest. Toward the place where he whispered his prayers. Alec lifted his hand, hesitating. then touched the creature's limb. A massive blast of light erupted from the contact, brief but blinding. Electricity danced across the floors and walls. I shielded my face, stumbling backward. Arden braced himself. Rafe yelled something drowned in static. When the glow faded, I saw marks on Alec's armor, symbols, the same ancient runes that burned on the creature's body. Alec stared, stunned. "What did you do to me?" The creature pulled back. "Remember, warn them, prepare." The jungle shook, distant trees collapsing in waves. The other things were almost here. The creature backed away, fading into the forest like a ghost. Alec reached after it. What am I supposed to? But it was already gone. Arden didn't waste a second. "Stone Edarin, move. We are leaving now." We didn't argue. Alec lifted Lieutenant Vale onto his shoulder, pain etched across his face but refusing to drop him. "Ed, stay close." We sprinted out of the wrecked courier as the ground shook again, harder, louder. Something massive approached behind us. Rafe pointed upward. Dropship incoming. The extraction craft roared into view, hovering low between the treetops. Alec shoved Vale into Arden's arms. "Get him aboard." "What about you?" Arden demanded. Alec grabbed my vest and pushed me toward the ramp. "Get him up there." I stumbled aboard, turning back. "Alec, come on." But Alec wasn't moving toward us. He was staring at the tree line, at something we couldn't see yet. His voice was quiet. "Ed, did you feel it?" "When it touched me, yes," I breathed. Alec, whatever, it gave. "You take it to the scientists, to the council." "To," he shook his head. "No, it wasn't for them," Arden shouted. "Stone now." Alec finally ran, grabbing the ramp rail as Rafe pulled him inside. "Go," Arden screamed. The dropship lifted. The jungle erupted below us, 3 titanic shadow beasts emerging into the clearing. Tearing apart the courier ship with impossible force, Alec watched silently. "Captain," he said softly, "this wasn't just a mission." Arden turned. "You think I don't know that?" "No," Alec said quietly. "You don't." He looked at the symbols burned into his armor. "They weren't talking to the humans," he whispered. "Not all of us." He met my eyes, and I felt something in my chest tighten. They were talking to the ones who still look up. The dropship pierced the clouds, leaving the horrors of the jungle below. We sat in silence. Alec leaned his head back, whispering words he didn't explain, words not meant for us. And for the first time, I wondered if someone really had wanted him alive. I am older now. More than 60 cycles have passed since that mission. Alec Stone retired 5 years after, but not into peace, into purpose. He sought out ancient ruins, lost archives, worlds abandoned by civilizations that had feared the same darkness we glimpsed. He researched the creature that marked him, followed its trail. He became a soldier scouler, a man chasing whispers. Sends me a message once every cycle, always the same 3 words. It's still coming, and every time, I believe him. Because sometimes in the quiet of night, when I look at the stars, I remember that ancient creature bowing its head to a single human, a man who whispered to someone unseen, and was heard.